Welcome to Potter Revisited, episode 113. I'm Tori.
And I'm Shay.
Today we are covering chapter 15 of Order of the Phoenix, the Hogwarts High Inquisitor.
Or, as we like to call it, the problem is real. The solution is trash.
So, this chapter starts with the trio finding out what Percy was alluding to in his letter to Ron, which is Umbridge is named the Hogwarts High Inquisitor.
High Inquisitor is a hilarious name because it's literally just like, Inquisitor is like question asker. They're like, you're the grand interrogator of the school.
Yeah, basically. So she's just been given a huge amount of power, basically, by the Ministry. It really is government overreach. And I think the fact that she's able to inspect and evaluate her colleagues feels like such a weird dynamic, like coming from an HR perspective, like that just creates weird friction and like power dynamics that you really wouldn't want. And it's just, again, like what qualifications does she have to judge someone as a teacher when she's barely a teacher? She hasn't even taught a year. And she's like, I'm going to be evaluating these teachers.
Yeah, I think performance reviews are supposed to be done by someone in upper management. Like a manager or team lead should do your performance review, not your like coworkers who are on the same level as you, because it's difficult.
Like peers you can do peer reviews, but it's more about, I think, your soft skills, like how you work in the team and stuff, and not about really like the quality of your work. That's going to be someone that's more senior to judge that.
Someone who has more qualifications in the things you're doing should be judging the things that you're doing. And I think that is fair. And I totally don't understand how a person who has no teaching degree, or I guess no one has a teaching degree in this world, someone who does not teach cannot judge other teachers like that. I think that's insane. It's super ridiculous.
In this article announcing Umbridge, they interviewed a parent, of course, Malfoy, who just so happens to live in a mansion, which they mention in the article. And he donates money to fund his office. And of course, he's so pro Umbridge.
Yeah.
He feels so much better now that she's there at Hogwarts for his son.
Yeah. I have a lot of opinions on this article. First of all, obviously, it's complete and total trash. But also, Lucius is kind of correct. Dumbledore has made questionable decisions, and there really should be more oversight at Hogwarts. Obviously not by an evil, abusive, racist, and maybe, some government whose top priority is keeping power and punishing dissent.
Yeah.
But there absolutely should be some type of oversight, because kids almost die playing Quidditch regularly. The amount of times the Dark Lord has showed up at school and tried to kill the students. Someone died during a recreational tournament. They had journalists walking around the school interviewing minors. Like, so many things are going wrong at Hogwarts. And it is so valid to say, Dumbledore is not paying attention to things that are an important part of running a school. And there should be someone there who is prioritizing those things and looking out for the well-being of those students. That is so fair. It's not exactly what Lucius is saying, but that's what he's trying to pretend he's saying, and it is a valid point.
Yeah.
It just feels like the problem of Dumbledore permitting a lot of crazy and questionable shit to happen at Hogwarts is very, very real, but the provided solution of Dolores Umbridge is complete and total garbage.
Yeah. Because they were going to do this kind of position, they definitely needed someone that was a lot more qualified and not biased for it.
Someone who is a retired, beloved teacher with years of teaching experience at a school that wasn't Hogwarts, so that they're not biased, should come in and do something like this. Or this position at the school that they create should actually be about looking out for that safety of students. Maybe give it to Madame Pomfrey.
Yeah, honestly.
Like, she's the safety inspector at Hogwarts, and give her the right to, hold Hogwarts accountable for how many students get hurt, maimed, or murdered during the year. Or someone in, some sort of, social work type job, if that exists in the wizarding world. Just someone who can actually advocate for the students, look out for their well-being, prioritize safety.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are all important things, Or even someone like a guidance counselor coming in as well to provide emotional support to these students. These are all valid things that should be happening. That's not at all what the ministry is providing, but they are all valid things that Hogwarts absolutely should have. Also, this article is just such a classic example of incredibly biased journalism.
Oh, yes.
They quote Lucius Malfoy, and then they quote another woman who's more pro-Dumbledore, basically, and says, no, Dumbledore's smart, he'll figure it out. But then they include immediately a link to an article later on in the paper about that woman and her association to questionable groups, and basically they're immediately trying to make her look like a nut for being pro-Dumbledore.
Yeah, exactly. Like a smear campaign.
Meanwhile, Lucius Malfoy is not followed up by any reference to the fact that he is notoriously known for having Death Eater ties. So,
All it says is that he lives in a mansion.
local rich man who is philanthropic and donates to worthy causes such as my salary and the Minister of Magic's, campaign, and is very handsome, believes Dumbledore is unhinged. Local madwoman who licks dirt off the ground and has one eye says Dumbledore seems swell. Like, it's just, it's so blatant and so not journalism.
Yeah, one of the other parts of the article is that when they're listing out the other DADA teachers, they leave out the fact that Mad-Eye Moody didn't even end up teaching at Hogwarts and it was imposter instead.
They're like, I can't believe they hired Mad-Eye Moody. Never mind that they actually hired a notorious escaped convict who's a murderer.
They're like, that damn Mad-Eye Moody, he didn't teach the kids anything.
To be fair, it's not Mad-Eye's fault.
And yeah, Hermione's kind of really upset about this, but Ron's just waiting for the day where Umbridge is going to evaluate McGonagall.
Yeah, Ron can't wait for McGonagall's evaluation, and I totally agree with Ron, because Minnie would destroy Umbridge. Absolutely eviscerate her.
Eat her up.
Calm, cool, collected, and superior. That's what Minerva McGonagall is.
Honestly, I love it.
We stan. I mean, you stan her so much, you shipped her with James Potter.
Unintentional, but... You can see the vision.
She can do better.
You can see the vision.
No, I can't. Jail.
Moving on, they're in potions and they've gotten back
their essays on Moonstone.
Yeah. Snape is telling them that he's marked them based on like their owl grades to get an idea of like what they should be looking to improve on for their owls.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I don't hate that. You'd be like, listen, the exam you're facing is going to be graded harder. I'm going to grade you, especially if he wrote notes. Like, if he just gave them a bad mark, but if he actually wrote feedback on it, like, this is incorrect, this grammar's bad, like, that's good and helpful, and I support that fully.
Yeah, I feel like the years should be focused on, like, judging things based on how it be in an exam, so you have time to improve on the things that you're weaker at.
I hate nothing more than, like, I found this would happen in math a lot in school, where you'd, like, do the practice homework for math, and it's kind of easy, and you write the exam, and the questions are, like, 4 times longer. It's, like, you're doing, like, 4 equations in one for homework, and then you have like a full page math equation on the exam. Like, that's not fair. Have me practice what I'm being tested on.
But Hermione has this annoying habit of trying to figure out what grades other got, and this annoys me so much. I'm just like, Ron, we're like, if you want to know, ask.
Yeah.
Because I think everyone kind of remembers some people being like that in school, being like, oh, what'd you get? When obviously they did really well. And if I did really bad, I was always really upset. So I was like, don't look at my grades.
I think I was that girl. I'm so sorry. I think part of me, it's either like, but it was always like, if I did really bad, I wanted to know if my friends who get similar grades than me also did bad. So I knew if the test was really hard.
Yeah, I guess you're looking from a place of like, I want to know what like the general average was, like,
yeah,
or how people did, so I can judge how I did in comparison. Where Hermione, I think, is just nosy.
Oh yeah, okay. So Hermione's talking about her essay grade and trying to get the others to tell her theirs, but I think it's partially because she's trying to convince herself that the probably pretty good grade she got is in fact a good starting point. Because she makes it sound like, oh, I wish I got an O, which means she didn't get top marks. So I think it's not so much her bragging as her trying to understand, like, to understand what this new grading scheme is like. And she's like, okay, I thought I did really well, and I got, like, the second best mark. And I want to check to see if, like, Ron also got a little bit less than what he was expecting, and Harry got a little bit less, just to, like, get an understanding and a broader sense of how the grading schematic works. And also to sort of, like, convince herself, like, okay, this is an okay mark. And I can do better. If Ron got an okay mark, but I think he can do better, and Harry got an okay mark, but he could do, like, you know what I mean? She's just trying to get an understanding of what this grading experience is like beyond just her own mark.
I also just feel like Hermione is just very nosy, and she's also, I think, because of how intelligent she is, I think she's kind of competitive in a way, so she likes to know what other people got, so she kind of knows, like, how close she is to being the best, because Hermione bases a lot of, like, I think her self-worth off her intelligence, so she wants to know she's top of the class.
Like, she knows who gets top marks in Defense Against the Dark Arts. She's aware of it, and the person who gets that mark isn't even aware of it. I also kind of love the twins here so much, explaining the grades to everyone, and
yeah,
they're like, you know, we kind of figured we should always get an E for exceeds expectation, because we exceeded expectations just by showing up. I think that is hilarious. That is so funny.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like, I love this. I also just love the idea that expectations are not standard. They're different for every student. So, like, Hermione could do, like, 90% on an essay and get P for poor because they knew she could have done 98% on that essay. But Ron's getting, like, a friggin' O for outstanding because he got slightly more questions right than wrong, because in this magical world, the twins think it's based on that person's expectation.
What these grades always remind me of, do you remember in report cards how we used to have, like, those, like, E for excellent, G for good, for just, like, really basic skills, I think it was?
Oh, yeah, like soft skills. The soft skills had a different grading scale than, like, A, B, C, D, E, F.
That's what they kind of they always remind me of that, because I used to get pretty much E's or G's across the board, except for class participation.
Yeah, I used to get notes for talking too much in class.
Not me. I was like, Tori doesn't talk enough. But moving on, we get our first class evaluation as Umbridge is inspecting Trelawney's class, which is a wild ride.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, Umbridge is just, following Trelawney around as she's trying, teach her class. And obviously, Trelawney's very anxious about this. And I find it really rude that Umbridge just asks Trelawney to, predict something for her on the spot. Like, I get that she's inspecting how Trelawney teaches, but, like, we've talked about how divination is really, like, an art form, and, like, you just can't ask an artist or someone in a creative realm to perform or just make something for you on the spot. Like, there's so much more that goes into that, so I'm giving her a 6 point for that.
So fair. So valid. And also, like, having visions to me doesn't seem like something you can't, like, maybe if you had, like, the right candles and the right room and the right moon, you could try and like get one to happen, but generally it does kind of feel like they happen to you. You don't invoke them. So it seems like Umbridge does not know how divination works at all. And this is the last, like, she's clearly, Trelawney is so uncomfortable with Umbridge. Like, even if she could just bring one about, there's no way she could in that situation. It's really stupid. Like, if anything, she should, like, look into her history of predictions,
She technically is a real seer because she has real predictions, but
she doesn't know that. She thinks she's a fake.
Yeah, she thinks she's a fake, so she's kind of phoning it in here. I feel like Umbridge is such a narcissistic and manipulative person that she takes advantage of Trelawney's anxiety around the inspection. And, like, she follows her around and she's just asking all these really pointed questions, but she isn't able to do that with teachers who are very confident in their work, such as Flitwick and McGonagall.
Yeah, I think that, like, it's all just a power trip for Umbridge. She likes holding the clipboard and watching people squirm. It makes her feel superior.
Basically, yeah.
It's very gross.
Trelawney predicts that Umbridge is in grave danger, and I just want to say she's in grave danger from me.
Yeah, girl. Get her.
Look out.
I concur. I mean, you know what? Trelawney's not wrong. Doesn't go well for good old Dolores Umbridge.
But going into Umbridge's class, Hermione is such a badass when it comes to teachers she does not respect or like. Like with Trelawney, she did not respect that class or Trelawney as a teacher when she stormed out of Divination. And it's like with here Umbridge, where they're being forced to read the textbook in class again. And Hermione's just there being like, I read the whole fucking book.
Yeah, now what?
And so Hermione is telling her basically, I don't agree with the premise of this textbook. And Umbridge is like, that's not the point. You're supposed to read it and like it's fact and don't question the findings. And I just feel like isn't the whole point of having students read a textbook to discuss what is learned from the textbook? Like, Umbridge is just such a terrible teacher.
She's such a terrible teacher. She's not teaching. She's just having them read the textbook, which they could do at home. There's no point in being in a class.
And, like, critical thinking skills are so important. Like, you just shouldn't be, like, reading something and then just being like, this is right or this is fact, this is real. Like, you should be questioning what you're reading and look into it more and discuss what you're thinking about something.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. She's wasting their time.
Yeah.
And it's one thing if, like, she's like, okay, for the first half of the class, you read the chapter. The second half of the class, we discuss the chapter. We debate what we've learned. We ask questions if there's something we didn't understand. But, like, if she's just giving them some time in class to do the reading, that's great. She's saving them time they'd have to spend, doing it as homework. But that's not what this is. She's just not teaching them at all. And it's stupid.
Yeah, she's not teaching at all. It's such a waste of time. I should give her a 6 point for that.
Absolutely. I agree.
I'm writing it into my notes.
I would just, like, if I was Hermione, I would just be writing my homework for other classes in this class. I'd be like, well, I've already read this textbook, so...
Honestly. And then Umbridge goes on this kind of rant where she's like, all your teachers are garbage. I'm a good teacher. And also Quirrell was probably a good teacher. And I'm like, okay.
Literally, that was Lord fucking Voldemort. whispering on the back of his goddamn head.
Yeah, Harry's been told so many times to keep a cool head, not lose his mind at Umbridge. But this is a really great line where Harry said, yeah, Quirrell's a good teacher. There is just the minor drawback of him having Lord Voldemort sticking at the back of his head.
Which is so true. So smart, so true, so witty. Hysterical.
Love sassy Harry.
Umbridge gets mad at Harry for this, but, like, everyone already knows and accepts the reality that Quirrell had Voldemort on the back of his head.
Yeah.
Like, that's already been accepted and acknowledged. That's not something the Ministry is, like, trying to get people to question.
Yeah, they've accepted that.
So she can't really, like...
Can't deny it.
Like, it's one thing to get mad at him for yelling at her, but she can't punish him for lying here because... Even the Ministry, like, accepted that as reality. So, fuck off.
But, Harry's back in detention again. And both Angelina and McGonagall yell at him for this.
As is their right.
So first Angelina comes up to Harry and is like, what the fuck, Harry? Like, I'm trying to run a Quidditch team and you keep getting detention. And then McGonagall gets mad at Angelina for yelling. And then when she finds out why Angelina's yelling at Harry, she's like, what the fuck, Harry? I told you to get a grip.
This is not getting a grip.
Yeah.
I know it's hard, Harry, but look how cool and superior Minerva looked the way she handled Umbridge. Wouldn't you like to look cool and superior? Figure it out.
To be fair for Minerva, she has told Harry multiple times to, like, think of the bigger picture.
Yeah, the women are like, we've figured out how to handle that monster. Sort yourself out there, bud.
Yeah, just going to, Umbridge finally gets some karma because she was not ready for Minerva McGonagall and her evaluation. Minerva's just, like, a star, honestly.
Truly, truly a star.
Every time Umbridge tried to, like, kind of, assert power in this evaluation, McGonagall just shot her down. I love it so much. I especially loved when she kept interrupting her and being like, how are you supposed to evaluate how I teach if you don't let me, teach?
Beautiful. It's God, Minerva is so socially skilled to handle the situation the way that she did.
Yeah.
What a badass.
Well, it's like she said, she's been a teacher for almost, like, 40 years. So, like, she's not gonna be dealing with Umbridge's nonsense.
Hell no. The thing about Minerva McGonagall is that she is superior in every way to Dolores Umbridge, and she handles it perfectly. It's like she knows what type of person Umbridge is, and she knows exactly how to combat it. So Minnie fights Umbridge in the correct way, which is she stays calm. She lets Umbridge raise her voice to be heard. She makes Umbridge match her and not the other way around, which means she maintains the control. It's such a way that people make others look bad in arguments and debates, where they, like, make the other person try and, like, talk louder so they look more unhinged. And that's sort of what Umbridge does with everyone. She, like, coughs her little cough and interrupts them.
Yeah, she really kind of, like, makes her have, like, it's like the power, she has power over them, but she can't do that with Minnie. Minnie's, like, holds all the cards, basically.
And it's just so nice to see Minerva handle it so well. And Harry's quietly realizing this is how you do it correctly, right? You don't yell at her.
Yeah. She's been telling Harry all along, like, you gotta, like, choose your battles, really.
And this is how you be smart. And hopefully Harry's taking notes, but I kind of doubt it.
I also like that she interviews Grumbly Plank, filling in for Hagrid, and she kind of is trying to get Grumbly Plank to, talk shit about Dumbledore, and she's like, nope, Dumbledore's cool.
He's fine. We're chill.
I have no qualms with him.
I mean, I really love Grumbly Plank. I think she's kind of great. And I think because Umbridge already knows that Hagrid is half giant, she automatically hates him, and therefore she automatically prefers Grubby Plank. And so Umbridge was hoping that she could find an ally in Grubby Plank. She's like, okay, Grubby Plank probably wants to keep this job, and she can keep this job if she lets me fire Hagrid, so I'm gonna get her on my side, and I'm gonna get her on team no Dumbledore. And Grubby Plank is just, like, has no time for that. Like, this isn't even a full-time job for her, so she doesn't need to suck up to the school or the Ministry.
No, she's like, I'm not gonna be here forever. She's just like, nope, I'm just picking up some hours to, make some extra cash and, do some fun stuff with some animals.
She's like, I'm here for the vibes and the paycheck. I'm not here for politics.
I just had a thought that if Umbridge was looking for people to shit on Dumbledore, she should have talked to Madame Pomfrey.
So true. And honestly, Pomfrey has every right to despise Dumbledore's behavior. Madame Pomfrey should have been given an elevated position that gives her rights to make decisions for the school, based on the fact that she has to clean up the messes being the corpses and lost limbs of these students.
Yeah, so we kind of end the chapter with Ron, Hermione, and Harry kind of sitting together, and Hermione is just contemplating what they've been dealing with, like with Umbridge, and how it's just not gonna work. And Hermione kind of says that this is more important than homework, so we know it's serious. And she just said we gotta figure out how to get rid of Umbridge or just do something about Umbridge.
And honestly, I'm with Ron on this one. Just poison her.
Yeah, honestly.
I love that. That's the solution. After the last chapter, I was talking with Tori about how I wanted to make sure my points about making sure the students know how to defend themselves don't be misconstrued as me being like pro-gun.
Yes.
Because I realized that that's how it could be interpreted. And then I corrected it to say that I am pro-gun for Hermione and only Hermione.
Yeah.
I think Hermione should be allowed to have a gun. But besides that, I support gun control, and that means poison is perfectly acceptable and on the table.
Hermione comes up with the idea that they should learn how to teach themselves defense against the dark arts, because Umbridge isn't going to teach them anything. They need to know not only for their exams, but for what's waiting for them out there, which is Voldemort. And this is the first time Hermione says the name Voldemort, which I think causes Harry to pay a bit more attention. And when they kind of dive deeper into like what they would do, because like Ron says, like they could try and teach themselves stuff, but it would still just be them kind of struggling along. And Hermione wants a proper teacher. Harry thinks of Lupin, but Hermione actually is thinking of Harry teaching them. And I think this is actually the best that this came from Hermione, because I feel like Harry is very modest, and for him to accept being the best at a subject, it needs to come from someone who he would believe would actually be truthful about that. And for Hermione to admit that Harry's better at her than something is a lot.
It is a lot. And I don't think Harry would even consider himself as an option, because, like, it's kind of crazy to think that one of the students in this class should be teaching this class. Like, that is a little bit ridiculous. Like,
yeah.
It's definitely, like, I totally understand where Harry's coming from, being like, what? No, I can't teach a class. I am 15 years old. Like,
yeah.
I got a D on my potions essay, Hermione. I didn't tell you, but it was a D. But it's totally fair, because Harry does, like, he might not have the skills to teach them the history of the spells and all that, like everything Umbridge is giving them, basically. But he absolutely has what you need at its core, which is the experience to know what it's like to have to do the spells you learn in difficult situations. And he is so good at that.
Exactly. Like, he's lived experience really counts for a lot more than you would think.
You know, like, I could totally see, like, if I didn't know what Harry did with it, I could totally see him being like, all right, Hermione, research a spell that's a good defensive magic spell in class, like in your own time in the library, and then explain it to me, and me and you will practice it, and then we'll teach other people, and then once other people can do the spell, you, me, and Ron are going to distract them, or yell at them, or do other things around them to sort of cause a difference, like to see if they can do it in non-classy settings, because I think that is the point. Not only do you need to know how to do the magic, you need to know how to do the magic in tough situations, or while there's distractions, or while the stakes are high.
Yeah, and Harry kind of doesn't take this, like, idea good. He's being pretty modest, being like, I haven't done anything, I was just put in all these situations, where Ron and Hermione are arguing,
I got lucky.
Yeah, think of all the things you've done at, like, your age. Like, this is crazy. Like, you're really good at what you do. And Harry's just, I think, just so traumatized. He's just like, you don't know what it's like going through all these traumatic events and having to basically, like, save your own life time again, and, like, basically thinking you're gonna die all the time. And, like, they're right. Like, Hermione does admit, like, Harry, we do not know what it's like, and I'm just so sorry that we sprung this on you. But, like, that's probably why you are in the best position to teach us this, because you know what it's like. And I just feel bad for Harry being just so traumatized that no one can really relate to what he's going through. He has Dumbledore avoiding him. He's worried about Sirius, and he's being gaslit by the Ministry on the daily, and he's being tortured by Umbridge. It's just not fair. Like, he's 15 years old. He shouldn't be dealing with this. And it's just like, he is really lonely.
From a technical perspective, he knows like 7 spells. So that's also a bit intimidating when they want you to start teaching a course when you know like 7 spells total.
Yep, but we kind of leave off the chapter where Harry kind of says that he'll think about it, and Hermione and Ron don't really bring it up again. But this is obviously going to lead into the creation of the DA, which I'm very excited for.
Me too. It's really fun.
But do you have any thoughts before we wrap up?
Yeah, I think it is really bold to suggest a 15-year-old teach them. It ends up being great, but it's a little crazy when you think about it.
I mean, problem solving, because Hermione's thinking, like, we're not learning anything in Umbridge's class, so they need a solution to how we're going to learn how to do these spells, not just for the exam itself, but also, like, she knows Voldemort's out there, so she's like, I don't want to leave school and be attacked and not know what to do. So I think Hermione, it's very logic based, but it is very interesting because they could have just had a study group being like Harry, Ron, Hermione, like, you know, looking stuff up, figuring out how to do it.
Yeah.
But Hermione thinks that it needs to be a proper teacher.
She isn't just like, oh, I want to be able to protect myself if someone tries to attack me. She wants everyone she goes to school with to be able to defend themselves.
Very equitable. She's thinking about other people and equality.
You love it. You love to see it.
My thoughts are just, I hate Umbridge. I hate her so much. It's so hard.
Yeah, I think Umbridge should suffer greatly, and
I had to take pauses reading some of these chapters because I'm just like, why is she the worst? Oh my god. And we're not even at like the worst bits yet. She gets worse.
She's so horrendous. We just have to remind ourselves that she gets what she deserves.
Yeah, that's gonna be a great chapter to relive.
It's gonna be real satisfying.
We just gotta make it through. Thank you for listening to this episode of Potter Revisited, and we'll be back next time to discuss Chapter 16 of Order of the Phoenix in the Hogshead.
Going to the pub.
So if you like this episode, remember to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you listen to your podcasts. You can give us any thoughts on today's episode on social media at Potter Revisited, or you can email us at potterrevisitedpodcast@gmail.com, and we will see you next time.
Bye!